You know, a lot of people like this stuff, but it's just not for me. It's not my cup of tea. Mm. And that kind of dovetails into today's talk. Today's talk is entitled What Works? Would you like to find something that works in setting a course for your spiritual journey? Are you interested in a sustainable lifetime of values that enable you to become healthier, wealthier, and wiser without guilt? No guilt. How on earth can you find what works for all of this? Well, I imagine that these are questions which intrigued Marcus Aurelius, Confucius, St. Augustine, and Frank Demas. Now, their answers are valuable, at least 3 out of 4. But despite their voluminous advice, their answers lack aspects of what we search for. By following their prescriptions, we might become wealthier, we might become wiser, or we might become healthier, but not systematically all three at once. It's overwhelming. People have been overwhelmed with information and rules without finding spiritual fulfillment for a long time. It's been the same story as when Jesus confronted the Pharisees about their many, many legalistic rules and rituals that were supposed to be followed. Well intentioned, but overwhelming. Charles Fillmore realized this, and he returned to Jesus's spiritual prescription. Charles Fillmore began searching for a systematic approach to highlight the genius of Jesus's faith. Undoubtedly, he was spurred on by Myrtle Fillmore's faith and her seemingly miraculous healing from tuberculosis. Fillmore also researched many spiritual concepts. He researched other religions, Protestantism, Catholicism, Transcendentalism, and of course, the various branches of the emerging New Thought movements, including Christian Science. He actively experimented with the tenets of these diverse ideas, never just accepting them, but judging them for himself, judging what is true, testing what is true. Of course, we know that Charles Fillmore settled on unity, what was later to be called unity. He settled on a practical Christianity, a Christianity based on positive thought and positive connections. It was his answer to the question, what works? We know that he endorsed 5 principles. He also broke from some of the New Thought concepts of E.B. Weeks and the Christian Science of Mary Baker Eddy by rejecting the dogma that healers and physicians were not necessary. His own battles with physical suffering brought an acceptance of anything and anyone who can genuinely help alleviate suffering. Moreover, we know that he returned Christianity to an abundance mentality that many people had rejected or at least strayed from. These concepts that Fillmore integrated into his system were all tried and tested by his personal experience, much like John Wesley tested his spiritual concepts with experience and inspiration. Today, we, the members of Unity, we still experiment by incorporating things that work in our own spiritual journeys. It's okay. These things may work for all of us, or most of us, or some of us, or maybe just us, or maybe not. But they are all tied together by the continuing evolution of biblical and metaphysical thought, which assures us that God is a caring creator, a willing partner, and a spiritual safety net. These concepts are not new. William James, the guru of pragmatists and the author of the Varieties of Religious Experience, called New Thought, that's us, called New Thought the doctrine of healthy mindedness. As a groundbreaking psychologist, he would know. Even earlier, Lao Tzu, in those ancient times, Lao Tzu said to watch that you water your dreams with optimism and your plans would find success. Yet updating and expanding these approaches still pays dividends. Speaking of dividends, Sir John Templeton was a legendary investor in the 70s, 80s, and 90s who was greatly influenced by Unity thought. Now, of course, he didn't make the money that Gloria made, but he was legendary nevertheless. And through his philanthropy, he established the Templeton Foundation. This organization is instrumental today in finding intersections between scientific thought and religious concepts. It's been supported, he has supported work and rewarded work from many spiritual and scientific thinkers. Some of them that you may know are the Nobel-winning physicist Freeman Dyson, Jane Goodall, the Dalai Lama, and lately, the Eastern Orthodox Patriarch Bartholomew. And these are just a few that you might know their names. Now, I bring this up because experimentation still plays an important role in the endeavor to expand our spiritual journeys and to test the truth. Again, we experiment and incorporate practices to aid in our own spiritual growth. We actively look for wisdom from many sources. This is evident when we test the efficacy of A Course in Miracles, use gratitude journals, Reiki, heart math, and we expand our repertoire of meditations, among other things. Reward our affirmations from I should or I will to I am is useful for many people in producing results. Still, not everything is for everybody. Perhaps nothing is for everybody. The key is the continual search to apply our principles to align ourselves with God and the Christ within. This should produce actions which benefit us all. We are then better able to benefit our community. The measure is in the results. Jesus said that by their fruits you will know them. Paul defined these fruits as the fruits of the Spirit as love, joy, and peace. That's a great goal, particularly during this season. In our group, you are free to each take the best and leave the rest. To adhere to spiritual principles instead of doctrine, to follow your heart instead of a personality, and to test new concepts for yourself from within. This requires taking great responsibility for ourselves. It can be a burden, but it is also freeing and fulfilling. Every new thought, new perception, new action is a new cause with a new effect, a new you. You take a step towards spiritual growth and abundance, which ripples through to everyone you meet. William Penn once declared that true godliness does not turn men out of the world, but enables them to live better in it and excites their endeavors to mend it. So what works? Believing that your positive thoughts have positive effects. What works? Acting with confidence that God does not create failures. What works? Loving God with all of your heart and loving your neighbor as yourself. What works? You discovering you. Amen and thank you.